This video is sponsored by Studio Bebop and NewGearPrices.com.
What's up guys, this is Linthio coming at you with a deck profile of my Hunders, basically an update. Bit of a different take on it. As you can see, I have the Vozors, which is quite cool. So this is basically my DNA Hunders. Now, I know that some people who play Hunders actually side into this type of deck, but I've been testing it mained and it's been really fun. Like, it's been really good, and it doesn't take anything, if you haven't guessed by now, DNA Surgery is mained. It doesn't take anything away from the deck, and it screws up quite a lot of opponents. You would be surprised. For example, I was going against Heretics, and I called Dinosaur with a DNA Surgery, and they couldn't do their mass plays. They couldn't go into Atom. They had to go for their generic rank 6s, and it really slowed them down and hurt them a lot, and that's just one example. Bujins as well, Bujins struggle with it, but yeah, without further ado, I'll get into the deck profile, and yeah. So here is the lineup. You've got 3 Thunder Seahorse, as always secret, don't want any of this super stuff, this reprint, none of that at all. Then we have the 3 Hunder, 3 Hunder, and the 2 Hunder. So that's kind of like your standard lineup. You don't need 3 Hunder because it gets too cloggy, and yeah, I don't really need to say any more than that, to be honest. Then we have the 2 Violon Prisma. This card is so good. You don't forget that his effect reads that if this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard. So a lot of the times, well, sometimes I'm quite sneaky. I'll set it and I'll have like Thunder King out, for example. They'll attack into this and then equip it. It's just like, oh, it's so good. So that's a good example of how to use that. Then we have the 2 Card D. This is a new addition. Card D is just to give this deck a little bit of speed. We can sit on back row, so it is quite nice to have this. And the amount of searching that you can do, or deck thinning in this deck you can do, is ridiculous. With a Seahorse, this, and the Pot of Dualities, it's just so nice to be able to dig and really get into the deck. Then we have the 1 Thunder King Ryo. Please let that go up to 2 or 3 next format. I really want it back. The 1 Photon Thrasher, just because it's nice to have a special summon and to beat them down with a 2-1 and make them use their resources to get rid of it, and then I can start playing. And then the 1 Honest to round up the monster lineup. Then going on to the spells, we have 3 Pot of Duality. It might seem a little bit excessive, but it works really well. So the 3 Pot of Duality, just to dig and get those resources that we need, and yeah, it's just so nice. It's surprising how much it doesn't affect me at all. I thought it might really affect my special summoning, but surprisingly it doesn't if you play around it. 2 Lance, because you want, you know, your big boss monsters to kind of live. 2 Recycling Battery, really good card. If you use it correctly, you can OTK with it very nicely. Mystical Space Typhoon, because back row is a thing. And then the final 2 is a 1 Book of Moon and the 1 Dark Hole. In my testing, this has won me back. I was kind of unsure about Dark Hole, but it's just so funny. It punishes people who overextend. It's just so good, and it's still a staple for me, in my opinion. The Book of Moon is a great card. It's surprising how good that it is. A lot of people forget how good it is. So Book of Moon is kind of earned its place in this deck through testing. Then going on to the traps, we have 2 Dimensional Prison. Don't need to say anything about that. The 2 Vanity's Emptiness, because this is still the best trap card in the format currently, in my opinion. Just too good. Then 2 Fiendish Chain, because I don't play Veilers, so we need some form of effect negation. 2 DNA Surgery. This is kind of like the whole point of the deck. If you don't know what DNA Surgery does, it reads as follows. Activate by declaring 1 monster type. All face-up monsters become that type. Simple as. So, we're all Thunders, obviously, but the way our effects work, you don't need to be Thunder on the field. So you can summon a Hunder, and you can activate its effect to normal summon a level 4 or lower Thunder from your hand, because it doesn't affect the hand, so you can carry on. Also, obviously, it's not affected in the deck with Seahorse, and Hunder can still activate the effect to banish it in the grave. But it does mean that we have some gnarly access to Lagia and Dolka. I always call Dinosaur, really, because it's a deck type that, well, you know, it's an attribute. Sorry, not attribute. It's a monster type that is never used, really. Like, no one needs to use Dinosaur, and by calling it, you're not really hurting yourself at all. So it is quite nice to have, and yeah, just gives me options. So DNA Surgery works really well. And then the one-offs, we have Mirror Force, Bottomless Trap Pole, and Compulsory. I have been testing Solemn Warning, but I currently don't like it. I don't know. I just think that the 2000s cost is just too much, and I just think that these cards can help. You know, can do just as good a job. It can't do a job better than it, obviously, because nothing can really replace Solemn Warning, but it, you know, does the job. So then going on to the extra decks, 40 cards main, by the way. Extra deck, we have 2 Lagia and 1 Dolka. Really annoyed. This is a tin Dolka, but it's the only one I had to hand. So yeah, Lagia and Dolka. These cards are still stupid. Like, these cards are still stupidly good. Really catch people off guard. No one really expects a Lagia or a Dolka to come out when you're playing Hunders, and it really throws them for 6. So it's very good. Like, really nice to have the option to go into them. I posted this on Pojo, like, in my testing stage. Someone made the comment that it's kind of depressing that a deck that consistently go into these two isn't an actual Dinosaur deck, which I do agree, but, you know, got to use my resources. So those 3 really good to have. Then we have the 2 Starleash Paladynamo. Card's just so good. Like, never go below 2 in my opinion. Been bumped up, it's gone to 2. Constella Omega. This card has saved my arse so much. It just allows me to grind my opponent down, get rid of the back row, and it's just so nice. It really earned its spot at 2, in my opinion, because just during testing, when my opponent's got so much back row, it's just nice to have the option to be like, okay, well, I just won't overextend. I'll just go into an XYZ, because they always, like, I've noticed a lot of times, I'd say about 7 or 8 times out of 10, I'll go Hunder, they'll let it go through. I'll go Hunder, that's fine. They'll be always wait for the XYZ, because they want me to destroy my resources. You know, they think if they can get an XYZ out of the way, it's good for them. So when I go into Omega and they try and Bottomless Compulse, it really causes them a headache. Even if they go Bottomless, I chain, they go Compulse. I'm like, okay, you've just wasted 2 cards on my 1. So it is really nice to have. I really like the card, and it's thoroughly earned its spot at 2. Then we have the 1 Thunder Spark Dragon, because he's always good to have. The 1 Blackcorn, he is now legal. He is now legal for us over in Europe, and I just like him. I think he's cool. The 1 Maestroke, because this card's so fun, and then the 1 Abyss Dweller. Cowboy is in and out of this deck. It's probably be replaced with this, but for now he's not here. And then the Synchros. We have these. We have 4 level 8s. We have 2 Crimson Blader, Scrap Dragon, and Sparkling Stardust Dragon. He isn't legal yet, but he's in here for a reason. 2 Crimson Blader, cards just too good. Against dragons, you'd laugh at them. Scrap Dragon, standard, really good card. And this card is brilliant. If you don't know what it does, it is basically Stardust. It's a light level 8 Dragon Synchro. It requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. 1 or more, sorry. 2/5, 2000, and once per turn during either player's turn, except during damage step, you can target 1 face-up card you control once during this turn. If this the card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So basically, you just choose a face-up card and it can't die. It's really nice, good effect, and it's just really useful to have. To be honest, you do this, activate on, like, you know, because you'll be going using Violent Prisma. Do this, Violent Prisma, you're just protecting yourself. You've got a 3/5 beta that's just running rampant. So yeah, the deck's working really well. Really do like it. I found my love for Hunders a little bit again. So I'm going to have some kind of Dev Pro, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro replays coming up at some point soon. Also same for Heretics, but I just don't really have a lot of time on my hands currently. Really struggling to get some content up, but I'm doing it, so here's the content. Apologies, but I'm really trying for you. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, cheers. I'll catch you guys later.